Okay, here we go with lesson 2. We are at the Financial Literacy 2A webpage. We'll scroll down and we are working on Join the Workforce. We are in our career lessons. We are going to do lesson 1.2, which is literally lesson 2. Click. Go ahead and make a copy. Now, once this opens, you are going to want to rename it. Remember to use your first name and last initial. Now, the first thing you should do when you look at these documents is take a look at what you're going to be learning for the day. Notice right here it says, in this lesson, you will learn to explain key strategies to maximize the effectiveness of a resume and cover letter. To get a good job, you need to have a resume which lists all of your strengths and all of your experience, and a cover letter, which is basically your way to talk with the employer before you even have a chance to meet them. You will also learn to analyze real examples of resumes and cover letters to determine their effectiveness. And you will work to create your own resume and cover letter that meet the criteria for success. Now, in order to get your target for 2A, you will need to create a resume and a cover letter. We're not going to do all of that today, but we will at least get started. Then, when you go to get a job, once you're out of high school, you will have all of these pieces of information already started and you'll just have to update them. I know that with my own kids, writing your very first resume and cover letter can be challenging. So if we do this together, you'll have a good start as you start to look for a job. Okay, so now number 1 is always a discussion prompt. If you click on the blue buttons, all it does is give you a Google slide with the exact same questions. So no need to click the blue buttons here. Let's go ahead and read the question. Quick, you're looking for a part-time job. You walk into a local business and they've got a big help wanted sign. The manager greets you and asks, interested in work? What do you say to convince her to hire you right there on the spot? So what are you thinking right now? What are the important things that you need to let an employer know or a manager know if they want to hire you? Now notice that this says estimated time 5 minutes. I only want you to take about 4 or 5 minutes to go ahead and fill in your response here. Pause the video if you need more time. Okay, now that you've finished the discussion prompt, let's go ahead and look at number 2. Number 2, notice that they give us all the instructions over here on the left. I'm going to read through. Notice that these are blue. That means when I click on them, they're going to take me to a different spot. This is a video on how to write a resume, top 5 tips. Then we have an article called A Recruiter's Tips on Writing an Excellent Resume. A recruiter is someone who is looking for someone to hire. So this is a manager who wants to hire someone, and they're telling you the best way to write a resume. Then you have how to write a cover letter. Remember, the cover letter is basically an introduction, a way for you to talk to the manager before you even get to meet them. Here are the top 5 tips, and this is also a video. Our fourth option is how to write a cover letter, case studies. A case study means that they're going to show you an example and talk about it. This is also an article. So I notice that I have a video and an article about writing a resume, and I have a video and an article about writing a cover letter. Now I know videos sometimes sound really cool because all you have to do is sit and listen. However, sometimes articles do have more information. So you do need to think about how can you best do the work for this section, either using videos or articles. Now I have given you some instructions here. Pick at least 2. In other words, I don't need you to look at all 4 of these. Now, you might want to look at all 4. In fact, you might want to click on each one and see what each one has to offer, and then pick the best ones that you want to review. Now, as you review your resources, Write brief notes in the appropriate box. These are the boxes. Be prepared to share your answers with the class or a partner so everyone can complete both boxes with all possible tips. As classmates speak, write any tips you don't already have recorded. This is where, if you would like to work in the talking room, maybe you take one video and one article, and your partner takes one video and one article. You each do the work, and then you come back and share your responses. Now, notice over here in the boxes, they tell you what you need. In other words, in this box, you need to talk about the tips for writing an amazing resume. So if you watch either the video or read the article, you want to write down here what are the good things that you want to have in a resume. Then you want to look at the tips for writing an amazing cover letter. So then again, you have a video and an article that you can review to put the information here. Now, I did say you could pick two. I wouldn't pick both the video for resume and the article for resume and not pick any resources for cover letter, because then you're going to end up leaving this box blank. I would pick at least one for resume and at least one for cover letter. Then if you feel like you need more information, review a second resource. Notice this one says estimated time 10 minutes. I'm going to be honest, I think this will take probably 20. Spend about 10 minutes looking at the resume information and about 10 minutes looking at the cover letter. This is one reason I don't give you a new lesson every day. I give you 2 days to do a lesson. If there's at any point you have a question, make sure you visit me in the chat room and I can go over this with you. Now, I do want to let you know, if you click on one of these blue articles, notice I have to click here. And it takes me right to my article. Now, this was an article. Want an unbeatable resume? Read these tips from a top recruiter. If you get to this, just press cancel. There's usually a little, maybe not. Oh, it's because we're using an ad blocker. Okay, I have all kinds of things popping up on my screen. Let me see, how can I do this? Ad blocker. So sometimes things are going to pop up and you're going to have to try to figure out what you want to do. So let's go ahead and go to select your ad blocker. Okay, this tells me that I'm going to, oh, this is our ad blocker. Oh, got it. I noticed that I have ad blocker up here. So that's this one right here, ad blocker. I noticed that I have that, and I bet that's through Lindsay. So if this happens, then you can go here and you can, it looks like unblock the element. Let me see. Okay, cancel. It's a good thing that we're doing, oh, there we go. I can just turn it off and refresh. Now I get to review this. Gosh, I'm glad that happened while I'm making the video. I could show you what to do. If you get stuck, make sure that you let me know. Now, of course, they're going to start giving you all kinds of ads. Try to just zoom past the ads. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read through this. Now, I'm going to let you guys know that as you guys are working, I'm going to find a way to download this information so you don't have all these ads, because this is crazy. So you can read through the article. Do skip through the videos. You don't need those. Actually, maybe let's go back. Oh yeah, on creating a video resume. Yeah, we don't need a video resume. Okay. Notice that this is a, looks like an interview. Why are people so obsessed with their resumes? And then it gives a reason. What makes an unbeatable resume? Then it gives an answer. And if we keep going, oh, this is really good. Yeah, you will definitely want to read through this. Does age stop people over 50 from landing a job? That's interesting. So that's a question I don't need to read because we're okay. You don't need to read because you're not over 50. So if you see this type of question, just run past it. And let's get to the next one. Sure, a great resume helps, but what is really at the heart of getting a job? Networking. Oh, wow, that's lesson number 3. So yes, go ahead and read through this one. So do you notice I'm not going to read everything? Only read what you really need. Another question. And the biggest frustration when it comes to getting a resume noticed. So yes, it is really hard. I'm going to let you know my daughter has turned in literally hundreds of resumes, and sometimes you don't hear anything. So go ahead and review. What would you do if your resume doesn't get noticed? Now I'm going to let you work on the articles or the videos that you want. I'm going to close out here and head back. Now remember, you have like 20 minutes to go through the pieces of information that you need. If you have questions, let me know. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, analyze a high school resume and cover letter. Now notice this says estimate 15 minutes. So this one might take you at least 25 or 30. I'm always going to kind of double the time. So I'm going to click on the blue. Now notice that this one takes us to another Google Doc. Now, if you want to be able to type on this, notice up here it says request edit access. I don't want you to request edit access because you're actually talking to this company and asking them if you can type on their paper. They're of course going to say no, because there's another cool option for you. You don't need edit access. You need to come over to File and make a copy. Now, when you make a copy, it's going to ask you, where do you want to put it in your Google Drive? You're going to just click My Drive. Now, if you want to, you can actually have a file place folder in your drive. I'm going to put mine in Financial Literacy. That's the name of my folder. I can make another video on how to do that for you guys. So once I've decided I want to put it in this folder, I hit select. I press OK. And it's made me a copy. So now, again, I come over here and I rename mine. Here we go. Now, analyze a high school resume and cover letter. What they're going to do on this one is they're going to show you what needs to be in a resume and in a cover letter, and then you get to grade somebody else's. So notice here, just for formatting, they tell you how to type it. Then they tell you what to put in for the name and address section. They tell you how to write an objective. They tell you how to list your education. They tell you how to write down what your skills are. They let you know how to write down the courses or if you've taken classes like at the junior college, or if you've learned how to type in Excel, you would write down courses. And then you're going to talk about experience. Now they're going to talk about how you can give experience even if you haven't officially had a job. Like if you take care of your little niece and nephew, you can count that as experience. If you go and help mom and dad at work, you can count that as experience. Then they're going to ask you about your leadership and activities in school and any possible other information. And most importantly, you're going to have references, people who will stand up and say, yes, this is a good person to hire for your job. Now, those are just the expectations. You get to look at one of these 4 resumes. Now, notice it says your teacher will assign you one of the 4 resumes on the next page. I don't care which one you look at. You can pick either resume 1, 2, 3, or 4. If I were you, I would look at all 4 of them and pick the one that I thought was the best one to review. Now, once you've picked a resume, you're going to look through it. And if you need to, you come back and use these ideas about what should be in a good resume. Then you'll come down here and you'll talk about the resume glows. Glows are like the fabulous things. Like, what did this person do well for their resume? Then we have our resume grows. In other words, what are the mistakes that they've made? What are the things that they can improve on? What are they missing? How can you help them to make their resume better? Now this will probably take you a little while. When you're done, go ahead and keep scrolling down, and it's time to look at the student cover letter. Now remember, your cover letter is your introduction to your possible new manager. Again, they give you ideas like this is how it should be formatted. This is how you list the contact information, your greeting, your first paragraph and what should be in it, your second paragraph and what you should write, and then your final paragraph and your closing and your signature. Again, you have 4 choices for a cover letter. You go ahead and pick the one that you want. Notice it tells you to look at the things the job seeker did well, the glows, and the things that the job seeker needs to improve, the areas for growth. When we get done, there is the discussion piece. Now, at this point, I am not going to have you do this section. Make sure you're listening to the video. I am not having you do this discussion piece right now. We have a lot to do in a short amount of time, so we probably will skip this section. Now, once you have finished this worksheet, remember this is how you are going to turn things into me. In order to turn this in, you are now going to come up to File, Download as a PDF, and remember there's a video that shows you how to do this. I have a chance to rename it, but I've already renamed it. So I'm going to save it on my desktop. And now that I've finished typing it in, I've saved it as a document, I'm ready to turn it in to my my submit area on the website. Now it's up to you. You can either stop what you're doing right now, go back to my website and upload it. Remember, there's a video that shows you how to do this. You just choose the file and submit. And then let's see, then we get back to our document. So now I've taken care of number 3. Now, number 4 is going to be work on for the rest of the unit. You can go ahead and start working on your resume and cover letter. I'm going to give you instructions on how to do that now. But we definitely will not finish this in 10 minutes. And in fact, it will probably take us a couple of weeks before we turn in our final product. Notice here I say you will make a portfolio as your proof of mastery for this target. There is no test at the end. You actually have to create your resume and cover letter. So let's go ahead and click on this one and look at how to get started. Notice it's another new document where it says request edit access. I don't want to request edit access. I'm going to make a copy for my own file. I actually can rename it right here if you want to. Notice I can go in. It gives me the opportunity to name it right there. I'm going to drop it in my drive and press OK. Now this goes ahead and tells me how to write a resume and cover letter. So this is one of those activities you're going to start today, but you're always going to keep it. And as we work through the unit, you're going to add more information. It does tell you exactly what to do. You get to start to brainstorm your resume. I'm not going to read these instructions word for word because you're capable of doing that on your own. I'm just going to kind of talk through it. And if you need to pause and read the instructions, then pause and read the instructions. Notice it gives me a space to write my contact information, to practice writing my objective statement, and to start listing my education. Now, I don't need a perfect objective statement. Maybe right now I'm just like, I want a job that pays minimum wage. Maybe that's all I know right now, and that's okay. I can come back and change this later. I'm going to start filling in my education. We are at JJ Cairns. And then you're going to write down what grade level you are. Maybe you're a senior. I would also put the name of JJ Cairns. What was it? Continuation preschool. Lindsay, California. I'm a senior. And then go ahead and make sure you go back and check that checklist and add any other information that works for you. Then start typing in your experience. Any experience works. If it's something that's not going to work, it's better to put too much information than not enough right now. Talk about your skills. What are you good at? And that might even be some of your interpersonal skills. Remember our strengths on that unit that we did on that survey? And then start to list some of the information here. Now, like I said, this is just like a brainstorming list. Now, when it says create your resume, we'll come back and do this one later. Right now, what's important is that you are brainstorming. I'll do another video on this piece. Then you start brainstorming your cover letter. You can start writing in some of your ideas here as well. Now, I'm noticing that this is a paper I'm going to have to come back to throughout my whole unit. So I'm going to come up here to the star and I'm going to click it. So now it's yellow and I can find it easily. Now, I don't want to spend too much time here. The video is getting kind of long. If you have questions, make sure you ask. I'm going to go back to my worksheet that I'm working on. There we go. And it is time for the exit ticket. Now, notice this says 5 minutes, and that's probably true. This will take about 5 minutes. Make sure you read through each of the questions and give me your best answer. Now, as soon as you are done with this page, now remember, you will still be working on this one, and you might still be working on this one, but you have given me good answers here, and it is time to submit. So you will want to come up here, download, make a PDF, and then go ahead and give it to me on my website. Remember, you will come here and submit. Now you have 2 days to take care of this assignment. So if you have questions, let me know.